Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday. Good to be on with you today. I believe we're ready to go. And thank you for being on this morning on this May the 2nd. I'm telling you, it's May the 2nd. We've got snow on the ground, and it is just crazy. But I think towards the end of the week, it's supposed to get in the 60s. Next week into the 70s, they're saying. So this snow is short-lived. But it is a little shocking to be here in May and to be getting that snow, but it's okay. It's not that bad. We know that the warm days, excuse me, the warm days are coming. If you remember, we had a fairly warm beginning to winter as well. And so we shouldn't be complaining about it. There are a lot worse things that we could be experiencing and going through. So anyway, hopefully you had a good day yesterday. Let's be sure and do this. Hit that share button as you're jumping on here so that others can jump on this morning. So hit that share button and let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. So 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. And let's look at verse number 1 here. We've got a couple of verses. I think we're probably fairly familiar with what's going on here in the first part of 1 Corinthians chapter 3. But man, this is so convicting, I think, for us. I think it'll be a blessing as we cover it. And I think it ought to maybe encourage us to step up our walk with the Lord. And so let's take a look at it. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Christ. And so Paul's saying, guys, I couldn't speak to you like you're growing. I couldn't teach you like you're growing. I've had to speak unto you like you're babes in Christ because you have not grown. That's how I've had to treat you. I've had to put the kid gloves on because I've had to talk unto you not as spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as babes in Christ. He says this, I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able. He says, I've had to continue to feed you with milk. I haven't been able to bring you the meat of the word because you're not able to bear it. You haven't grown, you haven't matured, you're still carnal. You're still a babe in your faith. And so I haven't been able to give you the meat of the word. And it is natural for individuals. As we grow, we progress, we mature, we eat different things, we experience different things because we are growing physically and mentally and all of that we're to be growing. And Paul says, hey, spiritually we're to be growing as well. We ought not be the same person that we were last year or even last month. Man, we need to be maturing in our faith, and Paul speaks to that here. It says, man, you believers at Corinth, you are carnal. You are still babes in Christ, and so I've got to treat you with the kid gloves because you're still a babe. He continues, verse number 3, for ye are yet carnal. For whereas, and here's the evidence of carnality here, for whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men? And we noted here, even back in chapter number 1, we see Paul says that there are contentions among them. In verse number 11 and verse number 10, he says, but that ye are, he says they are right in the middle, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions. We know that there are some divisions amongst them. And verse number 11, as we already said, there's some contentions. And Paul speaks to that once again here in chapter number 3. I can't speak to you as maturing believers. I can't treat you like you're growing because you are still carnal. There's envyings, there's strife and divisions among you. And he's saying, really, they're being childish. the most basic and simplest of faith they have not handled yet. And we need to be mindful of that as we consider our own maturity as believers. As we consider serving the Lord, living for the Lord, even some of those most basic things of the faith that we struggle with, that we ought not to struggle with, we do. Just a call to, just for example, let's go this, a call to our faithfulness to the Lord, our faithfulness to his house, our time in his word, our time in prayer. Even some of these things that we ought not to struggle with, that we do struggle with, indicate our maturity level. And Paul says, hey, the church at Corinth here, I'm still feeding you with milk. And hopefully that's not said of us that we are still babes in Christ. We ought to be growing. And then verse number 4, he says, once again, this example, sorry about that, this example says, for while one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? And so we see this childish division, this childish contention that they are going with and experiencing here. And so this is something that Paul is addressing, and he will continue throughout here. Let's look at verse number 5. Who then is Paul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believed, even as the Lord gave to every man. And Paul says, hey, God has placed individuals into our life that have taught us different things, that have mentored us and discipled us, and they've led us to Christ, and we've grown in our faith. It does not, he says, it does not matter whether it was myself or Apollos. We were ministers of what you believe. That we were ministers of the truth of the gospel. And then Paul says this, I have planted, Apollos watered, and then look at the last part, but God gave the increase. And that's where the focus needs to be for the believer. It's not a matter of who, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of the fact that God is the one that gives the increase. And that's where our focus needs to be on. It needs to be upon the Lord and upon what he has done in our life. That's where our focus needs to be. And so today, as we consider our relationship with the Lord, be thankful for those individuals in your life that did the planting, those individuals in your life that did the watering. But man, let's not forget, it's God that has given the increase. It is God that grows us. It is God. That is where our focus needs to be. And let's be mindful of that. Okay? We're going to end there today. I know a little bit shorter here, but we're going to get into this specifics of planting, watering, growing, all of that a little bit more tomorrow. And so didn't want to break off a huge section there and be too long for you this morning. So thank you for being on, and let's welcome those who are commented live. Cliff and Karen, good morning to you. Have a great day. Brian and Cindy, good morning to you. Lee and Angie, good morning. Hope you have a great day. Dennis and Geraldine, good morning to you. And I echo it is a beautiful day in Grayling here. David, good morning to you. Kathy, good morning to you. Have a great day. And then Gene, good morning to you as well. Let me just kind of give you a bit of an update. Pastor Barnett is doing very well and has responded well to the procedure that he had in removing the blood clots, and he's been in good spirits. Let me tell you something. Went and visited him yesterday, and I walked away encouraged. It's just a blessing to be around, an encouragement to be around. He witnessed to everybody that came into his room, and it was just an encouragement. And to see at 90, to see his passion for the Lord, to see his love for life was truly encouraging. And so continue to pray for him. The plan was for him to be coming home today, so we'll see if that happens, but look forward to that. Kim, thank you for jumping on here as well. All right, Lord bless you all. Have a great day, everybody. We'll touch base again tomorrow.